So the TiE50 would not have happened without a set of sponsors. You saw one of our sponsors in the earlier insertion, which is Draper. And Draper has been a strong supporter of the TiE50 program every year. And this year we have a new sponsor, and hopefully a long-term sponsor who's going to be with us for many years, Taj Singh of CTI. So I'll invite him to come and say a couple of words.
Hello, everyone. This is a great event, so we actually are really excited to be a new sponsor. My background, I'm the founding principal of CTI, founded it 23 years ago. I used to be on the dark side. I was a tax auditor, CPA, nothing to do with the tech world. But actually now I have a team of 120, plus about a 20% in-house software team. So I always tell people, when your CPA needs help, they call us. We are ultra specialized. We actually do a lot of tax credits. I actually work with a lot of startups. I'm an investor in 3 of the companies. Proud, at least one of them made it to the top 10. I won't mention it. But I became an accidental investor. So I invest in several VCs, several funds. But what we do is, we basically do tax credits. If you are a startup, a lot of you guys are pitching. If you're doing any kind of development work in the US, have US employees, sometimes just look at your basically tax returns. There might be tax credits sitting out there. So we specialize in R&D credits, property incentives, and employment incentives. I think we had a video, but they didn't play it. I love I customize it for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. But yes, for those startups that haven't claimed the credit, definitely talk to CPAs. If they can help you, call me. I'm more than happy to talk to you guys and provide some help. Thank you.
Thank you. Like I said, this is the TiE50 Winner Showcase. Each company will have play a 3-minute video, and then we have a panel of judges I'll introduce in a moment, and they will ask any questions or provide feedback. We have allocated 5 minutes for each company, and we have a steady stream of companies going. One of the things we are doing for TiE50 winners this year is we are also offering a blockchain-based certificate for all the TiE50 winners in partnership with Virtualness. It is something that you do have to buy, but it's a very nominal sum. And it does provide irrefutable fact. In fact, you don't have to say I took a copy of it, because actually a trophy, anyone can go buy it from a store. But don't do that. But on the other hand, this is the true, in the new age of blockchain, we are partnered with Virtualness. Those of you who are interested, take the QR code, and you actually can go online. It's a very easy system. You can get the own blockchain version, both static version as well as a video version of the TiE50 certificate. And if you have any questions, go ahead. We have one other person there. Feel free to go and ask him, talk more about details, and he'll provide you all the information that you need. We have 2 sessions. So I'd like to introduce the judges for the first session. If you can stand up, Preeta Ram. She runs a venture firm, very experienced, and very focusing on medtech. So if you have medtech companies, she's the one to go talk to. Mukesh. Mukesh is part of IIT Startups. He nurtures a lot of the startup programs, actually is part of the ones that heads Accelerator. We have had many companies go from there in the TiE50 and then get invested as part of TiE Angels. Thanks, Mukesh. And Ankit. Ankit, again, is manager of Flora Vista Capital. Again, if you need money, he's one of the guys you can go talk to. All of them are looking at it from the perspective of the fact that, are these companies investable? So when you guys make a presentation, remember, this is a good chance for you to impress the judges.
So the first company is Biosora.
I'm Carla Escobedo Jalife, co-founder of Biosora, a climate tech company specializing in the production of biochar carbon removal. Climate crisis is the biggest threat that the world is facing right now, with more than 40 gigatons of emissions every year. Unfortunately, it is disproportionately affecting global south communities, especially the ones relying on climate-sensitive industries such as agriculture, forestry, and fishery. But from the other side, there's a huge opportunity with corporates setting their decarbonization targets, which are very ambitious, but still there are limited existing, scalable, and cost-efficient solutions to achieve them. That is how we created Biosora, a biochar company. Biochar is the only scalable and cost-efficient technology to remove carbon. Just to give you an idea, 1 ton of biochar is capable of sequestering permanently around 2 to 3 tons of CO2 from the atmosphere. Moreover, Biosora holds a village-based business model that enables to deliver climate impact together as social impact to the communities we work with. And for corporates, we're an excellent alternative to help them achieve their decarbonization targets by the purchase of high-quality carbon removal credits. But how we do it? Biosora holds proprietary patented technology where we transform agricultural waste into biochar through a process named pyrolysis. Through the pyrolysis, we're capable of capturing the carbon content into the char, and then when applied into stable matrices such as the soil and other materials, it achieves sequestration. This sequestration enables us to issue carbon removal credits, which are permanent and also with a lot of co-benefits given the social impact we deliver. But what happened when we apply biochar into the soil? Well, we've seen an increase of 30% in productivity of the crops, and hence in the pH of the soil, and also we have water-saving properties. Moreover, it also has economic inclusion benefits and land restoration. Currently, Biosora is the largest biochar facility in East Africa and is looking for expansion. We're looking for the best group of investors that help us raise our pre-Series A round. If you're ready to invest in scalable and mature technology to remove carbon, please reach out.
Could you give us a little bit more context around the IP protection behind your technology?
Yeah, sure. The patented part is for the pyro reactor, but there's also a lot of IP which is not patentable in the process, and we've been also one of the only companies analyzing more than 30 feedstock for the production of the biochar.
Hello. Yeah. Sorry, the video sound was little.
Yeah, it was not the optimal.
So the term that you're using, biochar, could you say that again? What is the process and at what scale does it operate? Do we need plants, or it's at what level does it operate?
Sure. How we do it is we use our proprietary patented technology, and we transform agricultural waste into biochar through a process named pyrolysis, which basically captures the carbon content into the char, and then when applies into soil, it achieves sequestration. So it's like a dual, we work in the intersection between climate, food safety, and inequality, because it's a product that farmers use as a substitute for fertilizer that helps them with the crop increase, but also as a carbon removal alternative.
No, I think you can hear me. This is great. I thought you said pyrolysis. Did you say pyrolysis, which to me, I'm a chemist, means you're burning it, i.e. releasing carbon dioxide in the air?
Yeah, exactly. Through the process named pyrolysis, we kind of burn at high temperatures with the absence of oxygen, and that enables us to capture the carbon content instead of releasing it as CO2.
Excellent. Thank you.
1 minute for Q&A. 1 more minute.
So what's the business model of this? How are you going to make money for your investors?
Yeah, what we're doing is B2B to C business model, where we're commercializing the biochar as a substitute of fertilizer, the bio oil, which is a byproduct, and we also issue carbon removal credits, which are highly valuable, around 160 to 220. So it's we're expanding through modules or eco villages, and our mission is to achieve 1 megaton of reduction in emissions by 2030.
And how do you price your products?
Can you come?
How do you price your products?
Yeah, the price of the biochar is around $520 for a ton of it. And just to give you like a relative price, like 1 ton of chemical fertilizer or traditional fertilizer, it's around 1,000. So it's almost half of it. So it's also like a good alternative for farmers, especially in the communities we work with, because we're also boosting their incomes in several ways.
So you're going to work with villages. What sort of technology is needed in these villages to convert their whatever it is into biochar, and how?
Yeah, like how we work is like through models or eco villages, and each model costs around $2.5 million and enables to produce around 7,000 tons of biochar per year. And that's like the technology that we put. The difference from Biosora from other biochar companies that we made our own technology, which is completely deployable in the global south. So let's say our differentiator is we take off all like the fancy automated processes, and only the mandatory processes are automatic, and then the rest we substitute with labor. So similarly, we are having like a cost-efficient type of reactor, and also giving more jobs to the local people. So it actually brings down the cost and make it deployable in the global south.
Thank you. Next company, please.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Core Mobile.
Hi, I'm Chandra Tekwani. I'm the founder and CEO for Core Mobile. This is my fourth startup with 2 successful ones before this one. I started this digital health company due to my own experience with my son going through surgeries. At Core Mobile, we provide software as a service to expand capacity at hospitals by 20% without adding more staff or buildings. Our patented technology is deployed at Veterans Affairs hospitals after numerous trials and $1 million paid pilots on sole source contracts. We are authorized to operate at hospitals nationwide and have a sales pipeline of $40 million this year, scaling to $1 billion over the next 5 years. In addition, this year we are expanding from VA hospitals to private hospitals. Our growth is driven by the staffing shortages at hospitals and the need for authority to operate within the US federal government, which is a barrier to adoption of AI. We offer a HIPAA and FISMA compliant solution with authority to operate that expands capacity and improves patient outcomes. We have a complete team of clinical and operational staff and 50+ engineers. Our offering includes a mobile app and a web app for use by patients and staff, iWatch application for use by staff, and software for large screen displays. We include AI capabilities of ambient dictation, entity recognition, and large language models. We integrate with EHRs like Cerner, Epic, Vista, Meditech, with GE and Philips bedside monitors and a number of wearables. We include analytics software for retrospective and predictive analytics. We optimize the entire patient journey at all 3 stages of care, using AI functions before, during, and after care. This includes scheduling optimization, patient engagement, prep instruction compliance, patient tracking, and AI functions that are workflow specific and diagnosis specific. We are proven and ready to scale. We are deployed at large hospitals with thousands of patients and hundreds of care providers. Our revenues have consistently grown, and we have a pipeline of $40 million over the next 12 months. Our revenue plan is based on 5-year contracts with recurring revenues. The timing to scale is now because the market is ready. We are ready to scale at government hospitals, expanding to private hospitals, and have clear exit paths.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chandra. Very good presentation. And yes, our healthcare does need these kind of improvements. So the obvious question comes, there are entrenched players in that, and you say you integrate with that, and they also claim that they do bring these efficiencies. So what is it that you say that how do you fit in that equation and say, well, we are not replacing Cerner, but here's how we are adding value?
Yeah, so that's a sales objective. What we do is we approach hospitals and say, whatever is your capacity today, we will expand that by 20% using existing staff in existing buildings. We don't touch their investments in EHRs. We don't touch their investments in PAC systems. We don't touch their investments in bedside monitors. We integrate with them and then squeeze out inefficiencies in the system using the AI tech. Now, the barrier to adoption in AI is because it has to be reliable, transparent, trustworthy. So we have authority to operate from the US federal government into the US federal hospitals. And that is taken as a key parameter to get deployed. So how do we differentiate against existing vendors? We don't compete with them, we partner with them. We partner with Epic, Cerner, Meditech, we integrate with them. So our approach is not to go against the bigwigs, but surround the existing systems with our value proposition. Does that answer your question? Okay, thank you.
Could you talk a little bit about your sales cycle, and are you going direct to the hospitals, or are you using Cerner as a channel partner?
So we started with direct contracts with the US federal government. We are an approved vendor with them. That was to establish credibility. Now we are scaling through partnerships. The partnerships we are scaling with is not with the EHR vendors, but with systems integrators and companies like Variant Medical Systems. And a lot of those partners are also attractive exit options for us.
Great, thanks. This is a very compelling presentation. So one question I have is, how do you overcome, the perception barriers to using AI in healthcare? And you've managed to convince the US government and
yes,
that's pretty big.
Yeah, that's a good question. There's an inertia to be overcome when they use AI. That is why newer vendors cannot get in. We have 10 years under our belt with trials and pilots. So we have literally been at it for 10 years, and now we are scaling. So all those new vendors that are coming in now with the AI technology, take a warning. It takes 6 years to get an ATO from US federal government, 6 years. We have been at it for 10 years. They won't even entertain until you have some free proof of concepts done. So we have 10 years under our belt. That's how we convince them.
Though actually, I don't know if I agree with you on that, because once you cross that barrier and they have adoption and you have adoption, then I would think the next wave of integration would be faster, smoother, easier for everybody else in this audience.
So when I started this company, I did not know it will take 10 years for me to get here. Okay, so why it takes 10 years to get here is every hospital is different. You go from one VA to another VA, they use the same EHR called Vista, but they are still different. So what we have managed to figure out is these are not published differences. You have to actually do it and realize that these are the differences. So what we have done is over a period of time, we have evolved the architecture such that it is a bunch of Lego blocks that we put together such that 80% of the integration stays the same and only 10 to 20% changes between hospital to hospital. That is why it took us this long, because you go integrate with one hospital, go to the other place, it will be different. So then you have to change your architecture and get to that point. So that is why it takes time to do that. When new companies go in, again, they will have to start from scratch. So the barrier to entry is really high in healthcare.
How do you measure the productivity improvement, the 20% statistic?
So that depends on certain key performance indicators, and they vary by department. So for example, in emergency department, the key performance indicator is door to dock time. And the second one is admit length of stay. So the faster you move patients out of ED into the wards, the more you will have ED beds, and then faster you will take more patients. So that is how emergency department is measured. In surgery, you measure by how many surgeries you are able to do with, say, you have 10 ORs. You have 10 operating rooms, or in this specific hospital that I'd often go at, they have 6 operating rooms. They do about 200 patients a month. When they started using the software, because of scheduling optimization and the way we do the patient movement, they were able to do 210 to 240 cases a month. And they already had a waiting time for it. This is most suitable for places where there is a big waiting time to either go into emergency department or to schedule surgeries. And that happens to be in the government. So that's why we started in government. Now what is happening is the private hospitals want to make more money, so now they are interested. So for-profit hospital like Prime Healthcare, for them it's more revenue using existing cost structure. They already have the buildings, they already have the staff, now they can see more patients. So that's why now we are going from government hospitals to private hospitals.
That will be all. Thank you, Chandra.
Okay, thank you.
Next company up is Marma Security.
We live in a world where people, their devices, and their ideas are connected. These connections are vulnerable to cyber criminals and threats like phishing, malware, ransomware, and other cyber attacks. Enterprises are protected by an IT org. Consumers and small businesses have no IT to protect them. In 2023, over 1 million businesses and consumers reported cybercrimes, resulting in a staggering $12.5 billion in losses. 41% of small businesses experienced cyber attack in the last 12 months. The current cybersecurity solutions are either inadequate or unsuitable, as they are designed only for enterprises with IT. An average consumer or small business with no cybersecurity skills cannot utilize them, and therefore remains vulnerable. Enter Marma. Subscribe to the Cyber Protection Service. Let us take care of the threats. Your entire home or small business is protected by Marma. This innovative AI-powered cybersecurity solution does not require any IT knowledge and secures all connected devices on the network in minutes using a patent-pending Wi-Fi overlay solution. Led by teams of experts who have successfully built and delivered products at Palo Alto Networks, Google, Juniper Networks, our AI-powered cybersecurity platform delivers enterprise-grade security to small businesses and home in a radically simplified manner. Marma Security is projected to achieve a revenue of $1 million in this calendar year and an explosive growth trajectory towards $200 million by 2027. Become a stakeholder by participating in the $1 million SAFE fundraise that is being offered at a 20% discount. Marma Security is on a mission to protect every small business and home in the U.S. from cyber attacks at the click of a button.
Hello.
Okay, thank you. Great presentation.
Thank you very much.
Question to you. There have been over years many efforts made on securing all IoT devices and IoT devices being of different characteristic, different OSs and everything. So question is, at what level are you operating and how are you securing?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So our mission is basically to safeguard lives, essentially whether a small business that is trying to protect its life and business or homes where our family lives are dependent on the internet today. So we see them as network. A small business is a network. A home is not just a couple of PCs. It's a network with 15, 20 devices, including IoT devices. And we want to radically simplify cybersecurity. The reason small businesses and homes don't have enough cybersecurity is because it is complex. So we want to make it extremely simple. And a network-based wireless cybersecurity solution, it's as easy as connecting to Wi-Fi. So I have my colleague over there holding up a box over here. You buy the box in Best Buy or Costco, you turn it on, and you will have Wi-Fi.
He asked a slightly different question.
Was that?
I guess the question was, there's a myriad of devices, right? And different hardware architecture, different chipsets, different OSs.
Sure,
right?
sure.
So what's the commonality and at what level?
Sure. So we are a network-based solution. So we are looking at traffic coming from these devices, and they all use the same TCP/IP protocol, HTTPS. So the chipset or the hardware or the type of the IoT device does not matter.
I think a lot of times human error ends up causing issues versus when technology is still working great. Is there any learnings you've had from initial customers around how to manage that?
Sure. So I myself have about 20 years of experience in cybersecurity, last 8 years with Palo Alto Networks. And what we found is that cybersecurity is extremely complex, and human errors are very common when you're writing security policies and things like that. So that's why Marma Security Solution, the customer does not even have to log into the device. It's an automatically configured cybersecurity platform.
So what's the business model? What's the price point?
Sure.
You're going D2C, right?
Absolutely. So we have a hybrid go-to-market strategy. We have a channel-based strategy. To the small businesses, we don't want to acquire one small business customer at a time. So it's channels. Like let's say phone.com has 60,000 small businesses. They are providing services to. We will enlist them as a channel. Asian American Hotel Owners Association has 40,000 hotels, so they become a channel. That's our go-to-market strategy, 70%. And then we also have a direct-to-consumer, which is probably you're expecting about 30% of our customers will be direct marketing through social media, selling through our website and Amazon.
And the business model, and how much will you charge?
Sure. So for businesses, the price point is $39, $39.99 per month. And so that's a business model for small businesses. For consumers, it is $19.99 per month.
Thank you. That'll be all. Next up is NetScore Technologies.
Thank you.
The current ERP vendors are not able to handle the unique and diverse needs of micro-vertical businesses. Customers feel they are paying more for what they use, coupled with poor customer service.
We have both a retail showroom and we do projects and sales, like deliveries to customers. So we kind of have a unique situation where we're not just kind of focusing on like one way to sell to the customer. So we needed a platform that would kind of incorporate all of those. So a hurdle that we had to figure out a solution for, because we found a lot of tools that would either do one or the other, but not something that would kind of do both and make them work together. So that is one of the real reasons why we went with NetSuite and then added on NetScore, because it integrated into our CRM where we were able to offer kind of the holistic experience or multiple ways of purchasing through us.
NetScore is a leading provider of software as a service solutions for small-medium business enterprises. We solve the unique needs of micro-verticals in retail and wholesale distribution, increasing productivity by at least 25% coupled with responsive customer service. The NetScore suite is a one-stop solution with omni-channel commerce functionality ranging from point of sale, logistics, and distribution to integrating with online marketplaces and web stores.
I would say we're at least 25% more efficient right now with just some of those specific processes. We're looking to almost gain a complete headcount in somebody by the processes that NetScore has provided us through the POS, through the rentals, and through the delivery and routing. So, you know, that I think that speaks volumes of like our return on investment.
Currently, we serve hundreds of customers like Kavanaugh Restaurant Supply in North America with focus on restaurant equipment, healthcare equipment rentals, and commercial stone businesses. Our vision for the future is NetScore.ai, an AI-powered microservices platform where customers quickly take care of their unique needs, pay for what they use, and get good customer service. NetScore.ai will keep listening to small business needs, get them up and running quickly, and empower them to serve their customers better.
Yes, my question is, how did you come up with this, and why a restaurant supply first?
Actually, right now we deal with a number of small businesses, that the micro verticals, and we came to know that those businesses have unique needs that currently the global ERPs are not able to solve because they are horizontal. So that's where we come in, and we are trying to make solutions that are tailor-made, and also they pay for what they use, coupled with and also providing them good customer service. So we identified that each small businesses, especially the niche micro verticals, have very unique needs, and that is where we are creating value as a one-stop solution with the point of sale, logistics and distribution that involves warehouse management, delivery and routing, and rentals, service and equipment, and also an iPaaS platform that integrates these micro vertical businesses with marketplaces and web stores. So it's a one-stop solution that really takes care of the unique needs.
Why did you start with restaurant supply?
I'm sorry?
Why did you start with restaurant supply?
Simply because we have a number of customers in that micro vertical. Those three micro verticals, we have more customers in California, Texas, and Florida. The reason why we picked up is we got expertise serving those businesses in those micro verticals.
Question: Who's your customer? Restaurant supply chain or the restaurants?
these are basically B2B customers. For example, Kavanaugh Restaurant Supply is a B2B,
Okay.
B2B, and they sell to the restaurants.
Okay. And how big is this market? Or is this your beachhead? Like, what does it look like?
A beachhead, like a present in the CAGR, I think it's growing at a decent rate of 6% annual compounded annual growth rate, and it's billion. You see, like 7 billion, and the healthcare equipment rentals with a lot of aging population, they need beds or water equipment. So those rentals, it's actually a multi-billion-dollar market. Sorry.
So it's really fascinating how you're going from one industry vertical to another. And so my question is, how much time does it take you to customize it to go from, say, restaurant supplies to healthcare rentals to whatever the next one is? How much effort is needed on your side?
Yeah, right now we picked up, like I said, based on the customers we are serving. We serving more customers in each micro vertical, and right now the customize to building the click and configure, it takes maybe like 20% more time because each micro vertical is unique.
That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next gen port.
Next-gen port had been available years ago. It would be something that would be a game changer for me. I think we could have spared hundreds of patients visits to the emergency room.
Next-gen port is the first of its kind implanted smart port that detects early signs of infection by measuring changes in blood cell counts, heart function, and vitals.
Next-gen port will provide several functionalities that will allow us in real time to monitor patients' vital signs and monitor their blood counts in ways that manifest in preventing or delaying serious infections or treating anemia that may develop in our patients who are receiving chemotherapy and very susceptible to those problems.
So Next-gen port is the solution that physicians and oncologists have been looking for because they want to know what's happening with their patients in between chemotherapy visits. And with the new models of hospital at home and oncology at home, our device and our platform fits beautifully into what's coming next for remote patient monitoring and care. We implant the microelectronics in the body of the port. The port is implanted surgically under the skin. We capture images of the blood cells as they pass the fiber optic bundle tip. We send the data to the cloud for analysis and share the findings with patients and care providers. The medtech market is growing because of the acceptance of wearable devices. We're creating the next generation of care by leveraging an implanted device that autonomously collects patient data. So there's no additional burden on the patient to do self-reporting.
Over the last 30 years, we've been implanting ports. To have had next-gen ports technology would have afforded many, many patients the ability not to have to go to the emergency room.
We're the team to bring this to market because each of us has a cancer story, and we can see a path forward to serve those who get cancer in the future to have much better outcomes.
Thank you. Looks like you're doing a very important work here. I have a question, maybe trying to understand. You say next-gen port. Is this technology that goes into the port that is the chemotherapy patient would anyway have to deliver the chemotherapy treatment, or the name is, I'm just trying to understand the origin of name. Is it utilizing the existing thing that chemotherapy patients would need for a subsequent chemotherapy, or what? Yeah.
Yes, so we're taking the conventional chemotherapy port that's been used for decades. It's been implanted in the body. It's a standard of care. And we're taking this footprint of the port that has space and the catheter and adding sensors to the catheter and power and microelectronics to the footprint of the port, the head of the port, or we call it the brains. And the entire device is fully implanted. So we're measuring changes in heart, blood, vitals in vivo. So taking standard lab tests, miniaturizing that, and moving it to a new way of remote patient care.
Got it. So the next question would be so does it need any special kind of reader, or it works over the wireless networks, or at what frequency these things get polled and information get transferred to the healthcare providers?
So the raw data flows into the chemo port, our smart port, and is transferred via Bluetooth to the cloud, where we do all the heavy lifting in our software and analysis. From our software, there's going to be an API that integrates with electronic medical records to provide physicians with the information and the data they use every day to look for two things: early signs of infection through a cancer patient's journey between treatments, and also, is the patient ready for their next chemo? Should they hop in their car and drive to clinic and know for sure that they'll receive treatment on that day?
Kathy, tell us a little bit about your regulatory journey. Where are you? How long?
So we are pursuing breakthrough device designation with our product. We hit all of that criteria. We'll be submitting to the FDA that breakthrough device designation in the next 60 days.
And what's the plan to make money? Is it RPM codes or hospital budgets? How are you thinking about it?
So we have several revenue streams. One is that we sell the chemo port much like the conventional port is sold. The normal port is $256. Ours would be $300. We take a hit on the margins, but that's because we have a SaaS business model on remote patient monitoring. So there's recurring revenue through the SaaS model, as well as we are essentially replacing CBCs, or complete blood cell counts, additional revenue from taking that away from the labs and adding it to our revenue stream as well. And we're looking for investors. We're doing a $2 million seed round. We're about 90%, we're 45% of the way there. So looking for individuals and organizations to join us in closing out our seed round.
So Kathy, what has the reception been? Have you worked with, in working with clinicians, hospital systems, what's the reception been to this notion of sending all this personalized patient data up to the cloud and back again and things like that?
So working with hospital systems and physicians, they love the idea. We're being very specific about the data. We're transmitting it. It's really the data that physicians use every day to make decisions. So we're staying within clinical protocol, workflow protocol, and not varying or going widely from already accepted practices around exchange of information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the next up
medalist
is
in chemical engineering, a cost accountant and MBA with 10 plus years in leading multinationals like Honeywell and Grace before starting up 2 years back. The only Indian startup to be nominated by the US Department of State for a tech summit in Taiwan. An Indian delegate selected by the government of India for the ASEAN summit, being nominated by TiE Global for an event at the Silicon Valley. Team comprises of 100 plus years across domains. Did you know petroplastic takes hundreds of years to degrade? But would you pay 3 times for a biodegradable alternative? What about the electrical, electronic and automotive waste that alone contributes to hundreds of billions of US dollars per year? Presented Bhavishyaplast, patented, award-winning, agri-waste derived, 100% biodegradable plastic, priced at par with petroplastic, relative to 3 times costlier alternatives. Initial target would be industrial packaging, followed by coatings, electrical, electronic, automotive, and so on. It degrades in less than 90 days in soil as well as water. We are converting waste to wealth, promoting circular economy compared to highly unsustainable feedstocks like corn, which is a direct conflict with food, or seaweeds and mushroom stems, which are extremely difficult to source. Only know heat and water resistant bioplastic relative to others which dissolve in water. Mechanical properties are extremely comparable with petroplastic of the same thickness. We are talking $600 billion plus market, out of which 60% is packaging alone. India alone is 20%, and we can easily capture 5% of that in the next 10 years. We initially would target B2B sales of the bioplastic film soap. Once we've established the first commercial reference, primary business model would be licensing. Completed the pilot, tend to commercialize by end of this year, post which we will be raising funds to 4x our revenues in the next 2 years and 25x our revenues in the next 5 years. We can easily reach more than 120 million US dollars in the next 5 years and almost 50-50 licensing and sales. We are intending to raise $1 million US dollars for this commercialization, out of which 40% is plant and machinery, 10% research and development, and rest is working capital. Let's incentivize farmer, promote circular economy, and help save $7 trillion US dollar worth of plastic waste. Save Mother Earth, save lives.
Thank you. That was Royal Bengal Green Tech.
Royal Bengal Green Tech. Great name. Thank you. Great presentation. Our planet needs more solution like this. Question to you. I think if I have to anchor on something you said, it is low cost performance. So you're going on the basis of low cost. And the question is, in general, like, companies can start that way, but that may not be sustainable. So my question to you would be like, how do you think this low cost advantage is sustainable for you?
Absolutely. So we are not compromising on the margins to go low cost. So technically we have been able to basically attack the cost of production problem. So whatever bioplastics are available in the market, the cost of the raw material itself is double that of the petroleum based plastics. So the final price to the consumer has to be much higher. So we've been able to crack that. Our raw material is agricultural waste. So that is available, extremely cheap, probably 1/10 of the cost of the other bioplastics that are used. So that is where we've been able to crack. So it's extremely sustainable. We are talking 50% plus gross margins when we target the B2B sales. So that is definitely going to help. Most importantly, for any kind of sustainable products that we use or talk about, every consumer, you and me, would like to pay same so that the cost of replacement is not there compared to other sustainable alternative which is 3 times costly, right? So we want to help you and me, common people, to adopt a sustainable product without having to pay higher.
I think the question in that becomes is like, what is your IP or a technology moat that would keep others away from innovating the same way?
Absolutely. So we have a patent granted in India, and as we speak, we are working to file our PCT in other Southeast Asian countries, particularly where the abundance of the raw material is high, which is waste broken rice. And more than 50% of the world produces rice, and 30 to 35% of that is waste that is generated from the rice mills. So that will keep us ahead of the game because we would have a first mover advantage.
To market, what's the sales channel?
So initially we would target B2B offtake partnerships with the packaging agencies who provide packaging solutions to the delivery partners. So anything that we buy today online, quick commerce, e-commerce, shopping malls, hospitals, they're all switching to paper bags. Right? And paper is neither sustainable, nor cost effective, nor durable. So we are attacking that problem. So to summarize, we are not only solving the plastic problem, but also other unsustainable packaging solutions which have replaced plastic. So we are tackling both at the same time.
One question would be, what do you perceive as the major obstacle to your success?
I think lobbying is probably not a politically correct word, but yes, there is an ecosystem inbuilt for use of these petroleum-based packaging solutions and other plastic applications that we are talking about. So I think, from head to toe, if we are used to using a product, so just the averseness to switch to an alternative product is the biggest challenge I see, because the other big challenge in adopting any product like this has been cost, and we've been able to crack that. So using these channels really help us spread that awareness that a cost-effective solution and alternative which is much more durable. Even for brands, it's a much higher brand recall value because they want the same bag to be used at multiple places rather than a paper bag which tears off. So these sensitivities will really help us go there. That's how I look at it.
Cool. That's cool.
Thank you so much.
Next up is Vectra.
Hi, I'm Vinod Kette, the founder and CEO of Vectra. Our groundbreaking robotic process automation SaaS platform automates a mission-critical bottleneck in the manufacturing and construction sectors, reducing lead time by several weeks. My background lies in the manufacturing sector, starting out as an engineer at General Motors and later moving into management. After leaving GM, I initially built Vectra as an engineering and software services company. Realizing the huge untapped potential for automating the generation of engineering drawings, we focused solely on building and launching our revolutionary RPA platform. Engineers create 3D CAD models of mechanical systems using established CAD platforms like NX. In order to manufacture or build these systems, engineering drawings or 3D annotations are required. After 3D CAD models have been created, it takes roughly 4 to 12 weeks to finalize engineering drawings or 3D annotations, which are required to manufacture or build complex systems. Using Vectra's AI-driven CAD plugins, our customers have been generating engineering drawings in a few hours while eliminating CAD model errors which previously resulted in expensive non-conformances in manufacturing. Beyond reduced lead time, which is clearly the most compelling part of our value proposition, our clients have realized substantial cost savings and dramatic quality improvements as well. The serviceable market for what we do is estimated to be at least $40 billion per year and quite possibly double that number. Our goal is to attain $100 million in annual recurring revenue by December 2027 by primarily focusing on onboarding large enterprises with annual contract values averaging $20 million. We are currently closing out a $2.5 million bridge round, out of which we have already raised $1.5 million. In terms of an exit, there are 4 distinct categories of buyers. Thank you for tuning in. We look forward to discussing this further with you.
At a very high level, can you help me understand why is this a company and not a feature within AutoCAD?
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Why is it not a feature in AutoCAD? Why does it have to be a standalone company doing this?
Yeah, so AutoCAD, NX, CATIA, these are all the dominant CAD platforms used by various companies. NX and CATIA are the platforms used by the biggest companies of the world. None of them have the ability to automate the generation of engineering drawings. They all give engineers the ability to click many, many times, and it takes several days to do engineering drawings. And then there's a lot of human error in that process, and therefore there's a very heavy reliance on quality control personnel who are also not very effective. They're humans, they're working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week when there's a product launch going on. So what the CAD platforms have enabled is completely inadequate. So that's why we decided to focus on this particular solution, and we go across CAD platforms. We are CAD agnostic, we are industry agnostic. So with our roots in the automotive sector, now we are expanding more rapidly into aerospace and defense and the construction sector as well.
I think it sounds like a pretty good value prop to me. So what's your traction been thus far? Who have you talked to and how has it been?
So we have deployed our software on live projects for companies like General Motors, Daimler, Stellantis, through their Tier 1 suppliers. Now we are going directly to the automotive OEMs, and there's a lot of interest from General Motors, Ford, Mercedes-Benz, and in the aerospace and defense sector, we've got dialogue going on with 3 subsidiaries of the Raytheon Group, General Dynamics, and so on. So these are really large companies. And we've also signed partnerships with companies like HCL, who's got $2 billion in engineering services revenue per year. We have dialogue going on with Tata Technologies to close a similar deal. Now, these companies will help us get to market much faster in terms of expanding our global footprint. While we are still the only company in the world with this technology, we've applied for the patent. We should get it in the next 1 year or so.
Have you spoken to Jacobs or AECOM?
We have signed on a channel partner called LoadSpring. Jacobs is one of their customers, so they will be making the introduction to Jacobs in the next couple of weeks or so. Yeah, they will. The construction sector has an extremely critical pain point as well.
So I know one of the board members on Jacobs, so I can help you out there.
I'm sorry?
I know a board member for Jacobs, so
that would be very helpful.
Reach out afterwards. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Omni Design.
Advancements in processing power and machine learning are driving an ever-increasing demand for data from the physical world. High-speed data converters play a crucial role in capturing real-world data, facilitating wireless communication, and efficiently channeling information to data centers for processing. Omni Design is at the forefront of high-speed data conversion technology, enabling integration on the most advanced process nodes essential for these applications. Hello everyone, I'm Kush Kulari, co-founder and CEO of Omni Design. I would like to start by thanking TiE for this recognition. It's a great honor to be here. The problem we are addressing is the growing chasm between the analog world that we live in and the compute world, which is digital. The massive surge in AI processing power gives us the tools to infer meaningful insight from data. Yet much of this data originates in the physical world, and harnessing and transferring this data necessitates sophisticated technology to span this data divide. We bridge this data chasm and enable the data economy with our high bandwidth, high speed signal chains and data converters built on the most advanced silicon geometries. We are targeting a $50 billion market opportunity by providing essential technology for data acquisition and delivery, bridging the data chasm within key markets such as wireless communications, automotive ADAS, and wireline networking. Omni Design has also created Mondrian, a proprietary and disruptive software tool that streamlines the development of high-speed mixed-signal designs. What typically took months, Mondrian accomplishes in minutes, enabling acceleration of product development and de-risking of new products. We are doing all this with a phenomenal team consisting of experts in advanced mixed-signal design that come from both the industry and the academia. The need for our solutions for acquisition and delivery of data is everywhere, and that is fueling our growth. We have achieved significant year-on-year growth. Our customers include industry-leading corporations. We have 67 market-leading products. We have 34 patents. We are leveraging automation to scale faster. Thank you again, TiE, for selecting us, and thank you for your interest.
I think it sounds so impressive that we have no questions right now, but I will ask you one anyway. What do you see as the hurdles to adoption?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we started the company building high-speed, high-resolution converters in deep submicron technologies. Deep submicron technology is expensive, right? So people need to go from systems to SoCs. Companies need to migrate their systems to SoCs, systems on chip. But these SoCs need to be built on extremely complex, deep submicron, advanced process nodes from TSMC and other fabs. But it's expensive. So I think that's probably the biggest hurdle, right? It takes tens of millions of dollars to build these chips. And our customers are those folks who need to pay up that money in order to work with us. Right? So I think that's the biggest hurdle, but we are ameliorating that hurdle by ourselves building chips and chiplets solutions, right? So that sort of.
I think I saw 67 products. Why so many products?
Why so many products? So in our field, firstly, there's a number of categories. What we have wanted to do is we first got into A2Ds and D2As. Analog to digital and digital to analog converters. Then we realized people needed things around it. So rather than having other companies get involved in that process, we decided to build out the ecosystem around the data converters as well. So it's not 67 different categories of products. It's 67 different unique products that include A2Ds and D2As on different process nodes, right? We are working on 7 different process nodes. We got to do it because just like ARM, so we are like ARM to analog devices, right? So ARM is to Intel as we are to analog devices. Just like ARM had to build all of their stuff on, make sure that it works across different process nodes, we too need to build these converters on different process nodes, right? And so that creates a whole slew of solutions, yeah.
So granted your solution is horizontal, but still, what is your primary segment? Like, what is your beachhead in this? Like, of course, any provider like you has to cater to multiple solutions. What's your first one?
So segments as in markets? Yeah. So wireless communication is a big market for us, right? Because the faster you can sample data, the more data you can digitize, right, from the real world. and the faster the transport of data from the nodes to data centers, right? So I think wireless communications definitely is a big one for us. We are building really high-speed data converters, probably the best in the world today, to digitize analog signals, radio frequency signals, for example, that go through air, right, at extremely high speeds, enabling what is called software-defined radio, right? So yeah, wireless comms is big, ADAS is big, LiDAR, radar, wireless, automotive networking is important area for us, right? Automotive Ethernet.
That'll be all. Thank you. Next up is Yogo Health or Jogo Health.
Thank you.
Every 40 seconds, someone in the United States has a stroke. Globally, 1 in 4 adults over the age of 25 will have a stroke in their lifetime. 1 in 5 humans suffer from chronic pain. That is about 1.5 billion people worldwide. Incontinence, or inability to control bladder or bowel, affects about 300 million people worldwide, mostly women. And finally, 25 million people worldwide suffer from tremors. Over 360 billion is spent on pharmaceutical and surgical treatments for these conditions with limited outcome. For example, there are no proper alternate to opioids for chronic pain. Jogo, created by late Dr. Joseph Bradney, a neurologist and physiatrist, and Dr. Gordon Silverman, the original creator of EasyPass, uses wearable sensors and an AI-driven app to treat these conditions non-invasively using the science of neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the ability of the brain to form and reorganize synaptic connections. Jogo recently received marketing authorization in the United States through FDA 510(k) exemption pathway and is currently reimbursed by Medicare and most commercial insurance plans. Our clinical research partners are Brigham and Women's Hospital, Harvard Medical School, and Mayo Clinic. Recently, Mayo Clinic entered into a strategic partnership to develop our tremors and Parkinson's product portfolio and also invested in Jogo Health. So join us and invest in Jogo Health to help those who suffer.
Invest in Jogo Health and help stroke patients move again.
Invest in Jogo Health to help somebody suffering with migraines to get their life back.
Invest in Jogo Health to help patients with Parkinson's disease.
Invest in Jogo Health to help a young mother suffering from incontinence get her confidence back.
So join us and invest in Jogo Health to help those who suffer.
Okay, Shiva, you've got a whole slew of ailments on there. And you've got this one set of sensors and one presumable software, okay? So question number one, I have two questions. Question number one is, how are you able to address so many different things? And answer that question.
Sure. So what Jogo basically does is creates the lost connections between your brain and the muscles, right? So think of incontinence. You have your muscles that control your bladder is not working and your brain is the one that's controlling you, so you put the sensors on the muscles of the bladder, on the pelvic area. Same with stroke. When someone has a stroke, you put them in the muscles that are impacted, that has a stroke. So basically we are moving the sensors from the muscles that are basically not working, but there's only one brain. So you actually can have one app with different protocols for different indications, which can train your brain to get the function back for that muscle. So we are moving the sensors depending on the condition, but the app and the protocols are the same. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that's my second question, which is, so I was going to ask you, why would you need Mayo Clinic to do anything if the same app and the same sensors and the same everything is going to work across the board?
Yeah. So the protocols, when I say what the app does is the same, but the protocols are developed differently. So for example, for
Mayo is in the Parkinson's, right? Tremors. So you get tremors for a couple of reasons. One is you get Parkinson's and you get shake your hands. Sometimes they move your body, then the leg gets moved. So you have to put those sensors, and these need to be studied and clinically validated. You cannot just go to FDA and say this works. You have to do a proper study. So we need someone like Mayo Clinic to really create the protocol and study in a randomized controlled trial. So we need those. So we definitely need to get, so our FDA clearance was based on our data. So recently we received also breakthrough device designation from FDA for showing Jago is superior to opioids. That protocol is developed by Harvard Medical School, very similar to how we have a partnership with Mayo Clinic. But each one of them we own the patent for that, and that's why we need Mayo and Harvard to develop, yeah.
So you got a fantastic technology.
Thank you.
And just following up on her question, yes, so you may have found something that solves multiple problems. But what does the go-to-market look like? What are you going to tackle first, and why would that be the case? It looks like, the technology allows you to be defocused, but the business should
focus, yeah.
Focus.
So, I 25 years in healthcare, I had an exit before. The one lesson I learned was focus, right? We all. So we are focusing right now on pelvic floor disorders for women, right? Incontinence is the first market that we went to. We already have contracts signed with Mayo Clinic and as well as Mount Sinai Hospital. We just launched it this year because we didn't have insurance till last year. Only this year we got the insurance. So we are launching with incontinence. Then we are going to launch migraine. So that's our second. We have 21 indications, but each one is a whole thing, so we have to be clear. We already have out-licensing requests from large medical device companies for certain conditions. So that's also something we are considering, whether we could carve out some of these for the med device companies. But our focus is going to be first women's health, then, yeah.
That'll be all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is another health company, Bastion Health.
Hi, I'm Reza Amin, founder and CEO of Bastion Health. Bastion is the first and most complete men's specialty digital clinic. We provide comprehensive diagnostic and care to men from the comfort of their home. Let me share a rather alarming statistics with you. In 2023, over 85 million men in the US voiced concerns about cancer, reproductive health, and sexual health. But unfortunately, 55% of them did not pursue care in the current traditional healthcare setup. I've gone through fertility treatment. I've seen my dad going through prostate enlargement treatment. And I've lost my grandfather to prostate cancer. Today's men's healthcare is broken. And that's mostly because of lack of access, lack of convenience, stigma, and fragmentation. We set out to solve this problem so men from the comfort of their home can download Bastion mobile application, talk to a health coach, schedule a visit with a nurse practitioner, complete a list of at-home diagnostic kits, and talk to a urologist and comprehensively assess their health and start a treatment for them. Bastion is connected to all labs and pharmacies and in-person clinics in order to refer patients out when needed. Through our comprehensive at-home diagnostics and care model, we provide support for men's reproductive health, prostate health, hormonal health, sexual health, and other screening needs. We target self-insured employers that are looking to improve the health of their population, increase productivity, and lower their healthcare costs. 60% of men in the workforce need Bastion Health solution, and we can help their employers to increase preventative care and screening, immediately reduce medical costs by 50%, and have an ROI of 4-to-1. Focusing on employers larger than 5,000 employees in the US, Bastion has $6 billion addressable opportunity and $900 million obtainable opportunity. Bastion today is the largest virtual urology provider network in the US, covering 96% of US population. We are creating the future of men's healthcare. Leveraging AI-enabled software solutions and at-home diagnostic kits, we increase patient engagement and we provide high-quality treatment and outcome.
Are you employing urologists, or are they?
They're all 1099 employees of Bastion, yeah. but they're all practicing on the Bastion medical practice standard of care, following our protocols, and they have the malpractice through us. So basically all these providers, like as they're working in hospital, they have their private practices, they're also joining Bastion as a digital practice in order to practice in a futuristic setup.
So there's two conflicting things going on here. We heard earlier that there is a shortage in the healthcare system, and for you, your growth and scale will be really contingent on the ability to find and employ, even at 1099s, multiple people. So how do you fall on this?
So basically, like, the shortage is there. Bastion exists.
Maybe because they're all working for you, there's a shortage for us.
No. So basically, the thing is this, like, Bastion exists because we are planning for future. We need to solve for this gap. So let me give you an example here. We are making the life of all these urologists much easier by using our software technology, because then they can spend that 15 minutes face-to-face with patient on our app, and we are taking care of all the documentation and all the sort of like reading of those medical histories and things like that are going to be enabled through the AI technologies. So we are making the whole system more efficient than sort of like the current traditional system, and with that, basically, we believe we can help reduce that access issue right now.
I see you started with self-insured employers. Makes sense. Is the growth plan to go to benefits administrators or TPAs?
So we are working with TPAs as well. Eventually, self-insured employers are the payers because they are paying for all those things. And then TPAs, we are working with Collective Health, which is one of the TPAs as an example. They're our partners. But TPAs are our channel partners. All these health plans are also going to be our channel partners. They're not going to initially be our payers, but then eventually working with other health plans for their commercial population and also for Medicare, Medicaid. That would be an opportunity or extra opportunity for us. Thank you.
Next up is Career Flow.
Hi, this is Puneet Kohli, and we're building an AI-powered career services platform. If you or anyone you know have looked for work, you can probably agree that it's a really stressful and annoying process. Even though there's many reasons for this, it's largely in three categories. First is due to the time-consuming and repetitive nature of things like job applications and resume writing. Second is that the experience is fragmented across various job boards, ATS systems, and softwares. And third, the market keeps evolving, so it's hard to keep up with what we need to actually do as job seekers. Our solution to this is that we built a co-pilot that aids in the career journey. With AI workflow automations that save our users 10 plus hours a week, we enable higher quality of job applications through our product, and we're integrated across the internet through a Chrome browser extension, available at a fraction of the cost of other alternatives. For example, in a typical workflow, we start by helping people write a tailored resume to specific opportunities. We then analyze their job fit across 75 plus different career sites, telling them how they match up against the role. When they want to apply, we write them a personalized cover letter and also autofill their job applications, finally keeping track of everything auto-magically in a CRM dashboard. We enable similar workflow improvements in both networking and interview preparation. We also work with career services organizations to help them with additional organizational features to improve their workflows even further. We've had great impact on job seekers, such as 400,000 job seekers we've been able to serve since inception. We've reduced the time to first interview by about 60% and have increased the interview rate by 20% compared to industry averages. As a business, we're growing roughly 20% month over month and are currently at $40,000 in recurring revenue through a subscription-based model. We also make an additional $10,000 in upsold services. Our go-to-market is both B2C, such as going directly to job seekers, as well as B2B2C, where we partner with career services providers, employers, and higher ed or government. Between myself and my co-founder Nikita Gupta, we have experience running career services ourselves and understand this space very deeply. We've also led recruiting and hiring management at companies like Apple, Amazon, and Uber. We believe we are strongly positioned to be at the centerpiece of tomorrow's job market, improving outcomes for the ecosystem as a whole with AI at its core. And there's an opportunity for a $60 billion disruption in this market. We raised $800,000 in pre-seed funding from the likes of Techstars and Greylock Scout program. And if you're interested to get in touch and learn more, I'd love to talk to you. This is Puneet from Career Flow, signing off.
Puneet. Good presentation. Question to you. What would you say if I say AI technologies have leveled the playing field to the extent that the resume coming in through the door, everybody looks smart, hence we can make no decision based on that?
I think that's totally fine, right? So we sit in a place, right, career flow. We're not a resume building company. We're a company that's bridging the gap, right? And so if today that gap is the resume, that's what we help you build. If tomorrow, the ecosystem evolves and we hope to be one of the players that actually help evolve the ecosystem to something better, we are positioned in a way that we will be able to help you do that as well. For example, today, we don't just help you write resumes, we actually help you build your LinkedIn profile as well. We've actually seen that users who use our LinkedIn profile optimization feature double the amount of search appearances on LinkedIn, right? And that's just another avenue to find roles or get in front of companies.
How did you decide on the price?
Experimentation. Right? We started at a lower price point, we kept increasing, and we tried to just figure out the balance. Also, there's some competitive factors, right? What are other things priced at? For example, LinkedIn Premium is priced at $60 a month. So we definitely knew, and we knew from talking to job seekers every single day that that's really expensive for them. In fact, many job seekers told us that they actually burn a hole in their pockets just to pay for LinkedIn Premium, and they barely get anything out of it.
So you had a bunch of icons there. If you were to think about your customers, what are your main categories, the buckets, and which is the best one in terms of revenue?
Are you talking about the B2B2C side or the consumer side? Yeah. So on the B2B side, we think of our customers, first of all, broadly speaking, it's someone who's in the position of helping job seekers, right? So that would be the biggest idea there is the higher ed career services. So we have a few career service partners we're working with. There's also a lot of career transition services. They could be for-profit or non-profit, but for example, we work with veteran career services organizations. So they're helping veterans get their first industry job. Similarly, we work with an organization that helps prisoners post-incarceration get their job out of prison. Similarly, there's other organizations in that front. Third, on the employer side, there's also a large industry known as the outplacement industry, which is that, hey, somebody's got laid off, how do we actually help them transition back into the workforce? And so that's another avenue. So there's actually a lot of horizontal opportunities here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone.
Next up is Signy Energy.
Hello, my name is Gautam, and I am the head of strategy and investments at Signy Energy, which is an India-based startup focusing on energy storage systems. Thank you for the honor of choosing Signy Energy as a winner in this year's edition. Let me first quickly tell you about Signy. So Signy focuses on the R&D, engineering and design, and manufacturing as well as servicing of battery packs, and we also look at second life extension use cases. In addition, Signy also has an EPC or a projects business vertical, which allows us to focus on solar projects which also require energy storage. In India, we focus on three large and growing verticals. The first is two-wheeler and three-wheeler mobility. The second is swapping and aftermarket. And the third is telecom and battery-based energy storage systems. All of these requirements are very India-specific in the form of pack safety regulations as well as the localization norms. So while the cell suppliers have been predominantly Chinese, but the pack design and manufacturing has been led by Indian companies. This is already a $2 billion opportunity, and it's growing very healthily, as you can see here. Our interest in sodium ion is primarily due to the significantly lower materials cost in the cells, which, as you can see, is about 4 to 15 times lower than LFP or NMC, which are the current commercially competitive chemistries. And this also helps because this insulates sodium ion prices from lithium, cobalt or nickel prices, and also results in lower carbon emissions for sodium ion. And more importantly, among Signy's target sectors, the market always prefers lower cost over more favorable energy density. And that's where sodium ion really shines, and that's the reason why it's such a great fit for us as a company. And we already have a strong first mover advantage. We have a two-wheeler commercially available pack, which is undergoing trials with multiple OEMs at the moment. And we also have a pilot with a large telecom tower company in India. And we believe this is a strong lead that we'd like to invest behind and build on to help us become the leading supplier of sodium-ion packs in India. And lastly, we have a gigafactory that is coming online in June 2024, and this is completely chemistry agnostic, which means we will be in a very good position to handle the demand that comes from this new development. That'll be all. Thank you.
Could you touch on some of the safety side of things? How does this technology compare to the lithium-ion technology in terms of fires, etc.?
Yeah, so sodium ion is a great technology from a safety aspect. It does not have this combustible electrolyte, which is typically the problem in any of the lithium chemistry. And sodium also can be transported at what is called as a zero charge. So you really do not need a certain level of charge before you transport it across the sea. And of course, it works very well at a low temperature, which has been a typical problem for lithium. So we do believe that, and it of course has a very fast charging, which is possible from a technology perspective. So we do see that these are all the factors which play out very well for telecom towers kind of thing. India, for example, has 700,000 telecom towers, and all of them today are run either off of lead acid battery or a lithium, actually.
How is the IP protected?
Yeah, so we have about 12 patents on this, and some of them, for India specific, and some of them we have applied for overseas patents as well, actually. Yeah. We are incubated from the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, so we have a joint collaboration for IP development. Yeah, I know it's a lot of AI. This is a non-AI tech, so it's, I completely understand.
Thank you. Next company up is Dasera.
Hi, my name is Ani Chaudhary. I am the CEO and co-founder at Dasera. Dasera is a data security company. Our mission is to build a safer data-driven world. And the way we achieve that is by automating data security and governance controls. What does that mean? It means we are able to answer 4 questions. Where is my data? What data do I have? Who has access to it? And how are they introducing risk when they're interacting with data? Then we layer on top a very simple, intuitive policy engine that runs with if this, then that kind of logic. And if there are exceptions, we are able to automatically remediate or escalate issues. Our technology is used by companies in healthcare, financial services, and technology sectors. So this is how the product works. Our customers install us through a SaaS platform. Our platform then connects with all of the sources of data, whether it is in the cloud or on-prem. And then we discover the data stores in which data is stored. We are then able to classify and tag that data. And this data could be structured data, semi-structured data, unstructured data, or images. Once the data is classified, it is tagged for compliance parameters that a company may have. Then we connect to Active Directory or Okta or Ping, and we are able to pull down people directories so we know who all have what roles in a company and are using that data. Once that is done, we go look at the query logs, which is how people interact with data, how applications interact with data, and we are able to predict the intent and behavior of every interaction with data. Once this is done, we present this in a very simple dashboard with recommendations of fixing problems and recommendations of what can be automated. Our customers find value in the product as soon as it is installed. We have also taken a very innovative approach to pricing. Most companies can start the journey with about $500 a month. That makes data security affordable to all. Visit us at www.dasera.com.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
I think in this presentation you really went into how, like in much detail. But could you up level or value statement and say this is what you bring and that's why you can charge whatever amount? Like what is your?
Sure. The why is because we want to build a safer data-driven world. Less than 1% of companies in the world today have a data security strategy. What they do is they do perimeter defense, but what they're really protecting is data. We came out of UC Berkeley, and what we focused on was you have this data, that's what you're trying to protect, and the moment we go to a company, we are able to show them places they didn't even know data existed. So immediately there is value. Once that is done, instead of manually tagging, telling data owners to say, like, this is sensitive data or not, this is HIPAA data, PII data, we do all of that automatically, and then we are able to map where is this risk coming from an individual or application perspective. And one of the innovations that we have as a company is data in use monitoring. That tells us all the first three things you are doing because you want to understand what is the risk with data. And you can't do it if you don't understand what people are doing with it. And that's a tremendous innovation that we have. We have customers who are like $500 a month. We also have customers who are around $1 million a year.
So are you using logs to analyze this, or what's the?
Yeah, good question. It depends. So as far as the infrastructure is concerned, where is my data? We can do snapshotting, we can do IAM controls. When it comes to data, we do sampling. When it comes to users, we use Active Directory ping. When it comes to queries, we do it from logs. And the reason why we do it from logs is it does not create any lag in the business process. It's almost real time, and it does not create any load on the system on which this is running.
Any more questions? Thank you. Thank you very much. Next up is Devanagari.
Namaste. I am Himanshu Sharma, co-founder of Devanagari. Devanagari is an AI-powered localization platform to help businesses reach 1 billion Indian internet users in their regional languages. India has 90% of people who don't understand English, and on the internet we have only 0.2% of content available in local languages. There will be 1 billion plus Indian language internet users in few years. This is a huge gap. Existing solutions are not scalable or lack context, and that's why Devanagari steps in. We bring context to translations. Devanagari has a proprietary AI-powered machine translation engine that provides accurate and contextual translations across 22 languages, making multilingual transitions seamless. Our technology is embraced by major names such as Zomato, Flipkart, ICICI, showcasing the trust and efficacy of Devanagari solutions. We enable websites to go multilingual in minutes with no-code solutions. Here is the Niti Aayog website, now accessible in 22 languages, alongside numerous translated documents for our customers. We have also transformed MyGov, translating into 11 Indian languages, thereby enhancing government-citizen engagement. Devanagari has achieved an impressive 1.2 million ARR and is poised to reach about 3 million in revenue in next year. The Indian language translation market represents a significant $18 billion opportunity, which Devanagari is well poised to capture. In the competitive realm of India language APIs, Devanagari leads with the high quality scores, culturally nuanced document translation, and superior web integrations. None of this would be possible without an exceptional team, experts in translation, NLP, product strategy, and web engineering. We are currently on a mission to raise 5 million to propel our initiatives and scale our impact. Devanagari leadership in AI and NLP is acknowledged across India with features in TOI, Times Techies, Raise honors, and the prestigious Graham Bell Award for Innovation in AI. We have represented Devanagari at Shark Tank India as well. Join us in transforming not only the digital landscape of India, but also the world, ensuring that the power of language reaches every corner of the world. Thank you and namaste.
Lovely. Is it only text, or would you do voice as well?
Voice and text, both.
Do voice and text.
Are you dependent on any large LLMs, or you build your own technology?
We have built our own technology.
Do you see a threat?
I see a threat, but not only for translations itself, because it is totally a different game altogether. Not generating content, but having more quality data on translations of each languages together, and that is what we are doing. And focused on industry, so my machine translation e-commerce industry will work differently than BFSI finance industry. So that is what our focus is.
Okay.
So we focus on 4: EdTech, publishing, BFSI, finance, and e-commerce for now.
And which of those are you guys better at?
All the 4. So we have collected about 500 million sentences in multiple languages and different.
The reason I'm asking is I'm trying to understand more on the differentiation.
Yeah, so the difference is like context. So when I say mobile for e-commerce can be a phone, but when I say mobile for automotive industry is something else. So those kind of differences we can create on the fly and understand and bring more context to translations and make much more better results. And we have accuracy of about 85 to 90%.
Sounds very cool. I wonder if you'll sort of help. We have a question going on in here as to the source for your LLMs that you've built. Where is all that material coming from?
Yeah, so we use our customers' data with their permissions, and we work with 5,000 translators working back in India for different languages, and we pay them for their work, for collecting lots of data for us.
That's impressive. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next up is Doorbox.
Hi, I'm Kumar Sundaresan, the inventor and founder of Doorbox. Every day, over 1.7 million packages are lost in the US, costing Amazon alone over $9 billion a year. Doorbox features an internal and external camera and an alarm-enabled steel cable that prevents the entire box from being taken away. With our mobile app, you can remotely manage your Doorbox from anywhere in the world. As soon as someone approaches, it begins recording the entire delivery process and sends a video of who delivered a package and pictures of what got delivered inside your Doorbox to the user's mobile phone. It can provide valuable analytics on customers' purchasing behavior and sources of their purchase over time. We have developed an interactive dashboard that provides comprehensive details about received packages, including images, the time of package delivery, and package delivery person. We experienced great demand from the pharma industry. Our market strategy targets mail order pharma and online retailers. We charge $299 upfront for Doorbox and $4 a month or $48 prepaid annually for video storage and mobile app. With 167 million Amazon Prime members in the US alone, we conservatively estimate 100 million customers as our total market size. If you get just 1% of them, it's 1 million customers, and that would bring in $491 million in revenue. Doorbox earns 60% margin on products and 75% margin on subscription. We aim for 10,000 customers in the first year, making $3.2 million profit. Even with just 5 million customers in a decade, it is just 5% of the US market of 100 million customers. And these estimates are from the US market only. And Doorbox is patented in 10 countries around the world, and that has a much higher potential. Our architecture allows swift integration of any dynamic API, providing flexibility for Doorbox.ai. When an authenticated Amazon delivery person drops a package at a nearby Doorbox, the next Doorbox in the vicinity stays open for speedy delivery. In the last 2 years, we sold close to 2,000 Doorboxes, making over $300,000 in revenue. Due to COVID and capital limitations, we sold out 4 times and struggled to restock fast enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey Kumar, great presentation. And since you were one of the IT startups company, good to see that you're now into subscription model, and you made great progress in incorporating some of the technologies. So great going, but why is the revenue so slow still?
That was version 1, the physical model. We are launching the technology product only, this is the second demo that we are doing today, for example. We have not yet launched the AI-powered smart door box yet. So we already have presentations lined up with 3 pharma companies who want to buy, Health Direct Pharma Services in Rochester, New York, want to buy 2,000 door boxes at $1,500 per piece. So we have lined up, we're going to give them the demo. The product was not ready until last week. So we are ready now. My dream is to put one door box in front of every house in the world. It's a massive problem. No more OTP in India, no more taking photographs, because right now Amazon delivers and takes a photograph and they can grab and go back. It's just weak solution right now. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, I mean, seriously, they can drop the package, take a photo, and then grab the package and go. The solution is very weak. So mine is completely automated, so it's just amazing. So.
Are you manufacturing this yourself?
We're manufacturing in China, for example, and the technology piece is in Chennai, and we ship it here, and then we ship it to customer. We don't do anything, no manufacturing or anything in America. And then our goal is to focus only on the IoT piece in the middle that's got twin cameras. Our goal is to partner with, for example, Rubbermaids of the world, who will, to whom we will say, what, you make the box, we will keep the brain, the IoT, the AI portion, and give the metal and the physical portion that doesn't have any data to them, so that we can focus on data and analytics and keep a higher profit margin and focus on B2B basically.
Yeah, I think it's a very attractive box, but I would keep an eye open for future product personalization in case I don't want the black box.
Okay, the color is a choice. We can do any color, any size, by the way. People have made that comment before. So we're open, we're color agnostic, size agnostic. We just want to protect packages. That's it. Thank you.
Next one is Garuda, and that's the last company for this panel of judges.
Hello all, hope you're doing well. I am Raghavendran here, the CFO of Garuda Aerospace, India's largest drone startup backed by MS Dhoni. We also have other notable investors like Mr. Gunjan Samtani, who is the CEO of Goldman Sachs of India. We have established market dominance in the agri segment, in other precision agriculture and industrial 4.0 and training segment. The Honorable Prime Minister of India launched 100 drones in 100 locations last year, and we have established 65% market dominance in the agri space. Out of all the drones flying in India, 25% of the drones are Garuda drones. We have astronomically increased in terms of revenue from $250,000 in FY21 to $2 million in FY22 to $6 million in FY23, and we recently closed our books at $14 million in FY24. We have a very diversified revenue, and we have a very strong EBITDA and gross margins. Our EBITDA margins are at 23%, our net margins are at 18%. From 2015 to 2020, we were a hardcore R&D company, and we focused all our efforts on agriculture and other aspects. And now, since we have perfected the agri model, and agri is just a cash cow for us, we are focusing all our efforts on defense. And we have recently won a project sanction order for $180 million for high stealth, long endurance drones. And this has been awarded by the Indian Army. Once we give the trials and everything, this order will be coming back to us. And our growth projections are very high. We are projecting at least $45 to $50 million next year at the similar margins level. And we are an IPO-bound startup, and Garuda is going to be the biggest drone IPO in India. And we look forward for your support and investment.
Great presentation. Looks like you're already on your way to much bigger things, right? So
thank you so much.
So the question is, agriculture market versus defense market. One would think the requirement for the drone, the payload capacity and other things would be very significantly different. So could you tell us, how is this transition working out for you?
I'll just brief you. The agri market is very different. The agriculture is always a price-sensitive market. We cannot price a product very high, and we'll have to be always tweaking the product to the market sentiments and how is it always going on. But if you look at defense, they'll be ready to pay you 100x the cost as long as you deliver the product with whatever specifications they want. The average order value of an agricultural drone will be $5,000, $6,000, but a defense drone can grow from $1 million to even $100 million for a drone.
Well, I think he was trying to ask, how will you translate the drone?
No. So there will be different drones. So it will not be the same drone as such.
So what does the agricultural drone do? I don't want to ask what the military drone does. I'm sure but what does the agricultural drone do?
See, the agricultural drone, what does the drone do is it first maps the entire area. It will tell you where all the crop damage is there, and it will do an autonomous spraying of any input you give, like it fertilizer, pesticide, insecticide, growthicide, any inputs you give. I'll to give you just a brief. A normal rural person covers 3 acres in one day. Our drone covers 60 acres in one day.
So your drone has a camera, it's got a ability to carry a payload, sprayers, this, that, and the other.
Exactly. The drone has a camera. It will first map the entire land area. It will tell you where all the crop damage is there. From 3 acres per day, we are moving to 60 acres per day. We are saving 90% of the water, 60% of the pesticide cost, and we are also improving the yield by 30%.
That's pretty cool.
So you need to go from low flying to high flying and...
Sorry?
And they have to have avoidance technologies also built in for the military.
As you expand to defense, what's the capital requirement here?
Exactly. So when people think about drones, they think about defense for the first way. But we wanted to do something in the drone space. That's why we bet on agriculture, because we strongly feel agriculture will be the biggest market for drones. Today we have 250,000 acres of agricultural land just in India. That's a $4 billion recurring market in India. So we are tapping on that market. Now it's a cash cow for us. We've perfected the model right. Now all the money and reserves we're getting from the agri market and the investment we're raising is fully on the defense. Again, defense is a very capital-intensive market, but it pays you a lot because the margins over there are very high. But there's a working capital problem over there, but the margins will pay off.
These drones for the agricultures, the farmers, the Kisan Bhai of India, how much does it cost them, each drone?
$5,000, $6,000. I'll answer your question. 90% of farmers in India are marginal farmers. They will not be able to afford the drone. So that's the misconception over there. Farmers will never buy a drone. It's not like a tractor. We sell it to dealers and distributors across India who we've onboarded. These dealers are tractor dealers who will be the service providers. Farmers will only be the end consumer who will take the service of the drone spraying. This is an entrepreneurship model. See, now the farmer's son does not want back to go to farming. He comes to cities to become Uber driver, Swiggy driver. We say to him, we will give you the loan. We'll give you the loan also for you. You buy the drone, make money out of it.
Thank you very much. That's very interesting. A big applause to all the companies who presented and various verticals and all from all across the globe. Thanks to our judges here for doing a great job and keeping it very interactive, Preeta, Mukesh, and Ankit. And as these guys deliberate to pick up 4 or 5 Judges' Choice Awards, which we are going to give away, these Judges' Choice Awards are 4 per session, and there'll be another 4 more with the next panel. And we will announce them on our website, as well as they'll get an electronic certificate.